Hey everyone, it's Christopher, Mono County Library Director and co-host of the Oxygen Starved podcast, and it's Book Talk Friday, so I'm back with a couple of great library books to tell you about. And let me start by reading the opening of the first one because it's going to grab you. The driveway is a winding quarter-mile, a dim green tunnel through tangled pines and mountain pasture, fractured by dappled sunlight on the clear, hot days. Flashes of color, of blue jays, yellowhammers, and an emerald blue of hummingbirds crisscross the rusted barbed wire, and mockingbirds touch down on cedar posts that were cut from this mountain 100 years before. It all seems painted on somehow, as if someone dreamed it up on a slow day with an easy mind and hung it on the air. Then he rumbles in and goes to raising all sorts of hell. The dog, running half blind, tongue out and wide open, intercepts my truck halfway up the drive as the wild things scatter to the corners of the earth. He yowls, twists, and bounces to a hard stop right on some mark only he can find, usually smack dab in a red ant bed or mud hole, but always safely away from the main road, as if he can remember all the meanness and suffering there and knows this mountain is his sanctuary and his last stand. I know this is a reading a lot into a dog who falls asleep in his food bowl and suffers a shivering apoplexy whenever you rub his belly and acts as if every wayward possum is a sign of the end times. But I don't think any dog knows home better than one thrown away once already. This is, though, pretty much the sum of his comprehension. He seems to forget every waking day that a one-ton truck is not to be messed with, and biting at the spinning tires tries to herd it up the drive like a big, sparkly cow. He'll move, people say, because everyone's an expert when it's not their dog in the road, but I can never recall which side his bad eye is on, so I stomp the brake and twist the wheel and finally, lurching and cursing, arrive at the cabin. I swing open the door and the dog, 76 pounds of wet hair and poor decisions, lunges in, eternally surprised and overjoyed that it's me. I yell, "Get down," but it's too late. The truck's cab is tattooed in dirt, mud, or biting ants, because he needs to score into within an inch of my face to be sure. I might have been the UPS guy or the man from Cherokee Electric who has learned to bring a stick. Then, with a growl, he is off to molest the livestock and stir a general panic. He's a herding dog by blood, and he bolts into the pasture to create a small stampede. He evades the thumping hooves by inches, but always gets caught up in a never-ending circle and cannot find his way out, like a drunk teenager doing donuts in a parking lot. I stumble after him, yelling and threatening, and he hunkers down and covers his eyes with his paws. I used to think he did it out of shame, but now I think he believes that it makes him invisible. Now, does that hook you in? It hooked me in. This is the opening to The Speckled Beauty, A Dog and His People by Rick Bragg, and it just came out last fall. You may be familiar with Bragg. He's an award-winning journalist and writer, and he does a regular column in Southern Living magazine. And for books, perhaps he's best known for All Over But the Shoutin' and Ava's Man, two titles about his family and growing up in the deep south of Alabama. A few years ago, dealing with serious health issues, he moved back in to live with his mother on a farm he bought her. They're used to stray dogs out there, but in this brief memoir, written in his usual southern laid-back manner, he focuses on this one dog in particular, a senior dog broken and driven from his pack. You can sense just from that description that there's going to be a kindred bond here, and the story is a bit about who rescues whom. Now, I'm a rescue dog person myself, and I'm particularly enjoying this book, and the reviewers did too. It's short, and the print is big, so I'll be done with it and have it back on library shelves in no time. We do have a couple of copies of it. It does lead me to my pick for the old this week. Inside of a Dog, What Dogs See, Smell, and Know by Alexandra Horowitz. This came out over a decade ago, and like many at the time, it struck a chord with me. Now, do you ever wonder what dogs learn about when you take them on walks and they go from scent marker to scent marker, driven by their nose? It's remarkably complex information that they pick up from dogs who have been there already, whether it's a dog they know or not, how many dogs went by, and when. So tip, if a dog sniffs on a scent marker like a tree and then picks up its head and looks around, it knows that a previous dog may have just passed by. Now, do you ever wonder why a little dog like a Chihuahua doesn't shy away from playing with a much bigger dog that might hurt it? We know dogs have been used at airports for years to sniff out contraband drugs, but when did we learn we could use them in hospitals to help sniff out illness? And what's going through the dog's mind when it gazes intently at our eyes, the only pet that regularly does so? A lot of dog science is recent, and thanks to people like Horowitz, we're learning new things about our canine companions each year. Inside of a Dog is not a how-to book. Instead, as a dog owner, I found it to be a fascinating and fun, plain English exploration of what my own dog might be thinking and experiencing as we go through life together. Just one of us is a bit closer to ground level. This is Inside of a Dog by Alexandra Horowitz. This is The Speckled Beauty by Rick Bragg. Two great books for dog lovers available at Mono County Libraries. Come in and grab these or another great dog book to read. In the meantime, stay safe and happy reading.